at all these books. I wish I had more room in my backpack.
Oh, so you're a reader, huh?
Oh. When I'm not running away from hunters and infected? Yeah, I read all the time. Okay, it's time to lighten the mood. Bakers trade bread recipes on a need-to-know basis. Need.
I get it.
A moon rock tastes better than an earthly rock because it's meatier. Oh man, that made me hungry. A backwards poet writes in verse.
Do you even get that?
Of course not. I used to be addicted to soap, but I'm clean now.
All right, I've actually never heard that one.
That's it. That's all I got.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Saladino. Every time I see a picture of Bella Ramsey as Ellie, clips from the show, it's clear that Druckmann hates The Last of Us. Even though it was his idea in the first place, he hates it. I mean, it's not just that The Last of Us 2 was his revenge against Bruce Straley, Amy Hennig, and Joel fans. He hates the series completely. I don't know, maybe it's because after Straley, Hennig, and whoever else went over the first game's story, it wasn't what he really wanted. Maybe he really was stuck on the idea of Joel being tortured by Tess and Ellie saving him, or whatever was supposed to have happened. I'm hearing now that Amy Hennig was probably largely responsible for the actual script of The Last of Us. I don't know how true that is. I may take the time at some point to really look into it, but there is a huge drop in the quality of the writing between the first game and the second, so it stands to reason. The second game is terribly written and so emotionally manipulative. It's really the performances, particularly Ashley Johnson's performance as Ellie, that sells the majority of the game. And the gameplay. I think the gameplay is great, the graphics are great, technically it's wonderful. But the story sucks. And if it wasn't for Ashley Johnson, who carries, most of the first half, and flashbacks in the end, and Joel, of course. But we don't get to see much of Joel in the second game. But Troy Baker is a legend for his performance as Joel. It's just too bad he co-signed all the bullshit of the second game and even the casting choice of Pablo Almodovar as Joel. What's hilarious about that is when it was announced Escobar was cast, Troy Baker tweeted out how he couldn't wait to see Pablo's interpretation as Joel, to see what he could learn about Joel from it. It's like, man, shut up. You created Joel, so to speak. Your performance as Joel is definitive, and there's nothing Pablo Hidalgo could have done to better it. Escobar played a watered-down version of Joel. Not just watered down, but a whiny, crybaby, therapy-seeking Joel, which is ridiculous and just absurd. And still, audiences liked the character enough to drop the show after these idiots killed him. I really thought the other producers on the show were going to have enough sense to change the way Joel is killed in the series, because it's so obvious that the way the game handles it is terrible. But no, these idiots just tell us up front that Abby is getting revenge for the doctor. As if that was the reason people hate Abby. Because she killed Joel before we knew why exactly. I guess these goofballs thought audiences were just immediately going to disconnect from the character that they've been watching all this time, in favor of some random weirdo who tortures and brutally murders him. Well, he did kill her dad, so I understand. Justice for Abby. Joel who? And speaking of Abby, the casting choice of Abby proves that the way she looks in the game has nothing to do with the story. Nothing to do with this cope that people were saying that she bulked up like that to get revenge. She didn't need to bulk up. She didn't have to plan to fight Joel. She could just run up on him and shoot him in the back or something, which is essentially what she did in the game anyway. You know, got a shotgun to the knee, an arrow to the knee. But people have already said with the Abby casting that the girl looks like Ellie. In fact, she's probably the very first choice for Ellie way back before there was an actual film or TV show adaptation. But by the time the series finally came around, she was too old. And it's funny though, because everybody is like, she looks more like Ellie than the girl they hired to be Ellie. And part of it goes back to the fact that when Abby was first revealed, a lot of us thought she was Ellie's mom, and that part 2 was going to show Ellie's origin story, alongside whatever present-day shenanigans were going on. But it just goes to show how all these idiots who kept insisting that Abby represented real women, they couldn't cast a woman who looks like Abby in real life. Even the woman Abby is supposed to be based on looks more like a woman than Abby does. Now, you could say, well, they couldn't find a woman who looked like Abby who could act. But then, the problem is, besides, we can't find anyone in real life who looks like Abby, or if we could come close, she couldn't act the part, is the fact that Abby looks stupid in the game. She is clearly a man with a woman's head on his body. A freak. And if you got some bulked-up hulk of a woman on television killing your main protagonist, nobody's going to be like, wow, what a strong woman. Look how she just smashed the patriarchy. Go, Abby, go. No, most people are going to be like, look at this freak. She looks like a dude. You think people dragging Bella Ramsey is bad. Can you imagine what people would have been saying if they cast a woman who looked like this?
And steroids make my body balloon up, and they also give me the strength of 20 men. So while you may choose to ignore me now,
5 or 6 years away. In the meantime, Vera says, live fast, die young and pretty.
Every time I think about The Last of Us Part 2, it's the community worst timeline meme. It just goes to show you how destructive and full of shit activists are. This idiot Druckmann shit all over a well-loved, super successful franchise with one of the most miserable, emotionally manipulative revenge is bad storylines. Because what? Joel took away his adopted daughter's right to choose? Like I said before, Druckmann destroyed Western gaming because he didn't want his daughter to live in a world with sexy female video game heroines in them. Games his daughter didn't even have to play. Games his daughter isn't even the target audience for. He made games for men that pushed feminist agenda, and the whole AAA Western gaming community followed suit. And now, everybody's getting laid off. Studios are being shut down. He made one of the ugliest, most miserable, hopeless games ever. About hate. And what? This is the game he wants his daughter to play? Sure, it's miserable and manipulative, but at least the women are ugly.
I don't like what I see.
Oh my God!
Bella Ramsey can't carry this show. You could say she's a talented actress all you want, but she's not doing anything special as Ellie. Ellie is not Ellie in this show. And the main criticism I'm seeing about Ellie as a character post Joel in 1 is that she doesn't even seem like she's on a mission of revenge. She's joking around and acting silly, and she looks so stupid in the action scenes. However talented Bella Ramsey is supposed to be, it doesn't matter, because she's not Ellie. She doesn't act like Ellie, and she absolutely does not look like Ellie. And keep in mind, this actress auditioned for the role of Ellie.
Oh my God!
Again, this actress auditioned for the role.
Lee, I'm sorry for jamming my way into your ride, okay? I know you're really angry about it, and I know you think I don't know shit, but...
I'm not angry about that, Jesse. I don't care what you do or don't know.
Okay, but you are angry with me.
There is no version of this that isn't a mistake. I know, because I'm it. Joe and Sammy are it.
It's my choice.
Right. And I'll remember that when you lose your shit, or you get blown up, or shot.
Best comment on this clip is the guy who goes, "This looks like Ellie and Maria arguing." Yeah, it looks like they're arguing before Ellie runs off to Seattle. Right? They had Ellie right there, but they chose this instead.
Was the fact that I didn't turn into a monster.
If she so much as twitches, don't.
Okay.
E deixa a vida me levar. Deixa a vida me levar.
If Druckmann loved The Last of Us, and if he really wanted to show it off in its best light, he would have cast Callie Spaney in a heartbeat. No questions asked. The problem is, he cares more about feminist ideology than he does art. He's an activist. And that must go hand in hand with someone who isn't actually that talented or creative. Most artists care more about their art than their politics. And if it came down to, well, Callie is just too good looking to play Ellie, even though Ellie is objectively cute. Callie is too good looking. I always wanted Ellie to be a badass female heroine that nobody would ever think of in terms of looks. Even if it came down to that, that doesn't make any sense. This is real life. You have a girl who looks like Ellie. She's talented, she's a rising star, and yet you'd rather own the chuds and pick.
Oh my God!
And that's the thing. I really think one of the main reasons the casting of The Last of Us TV series is so bad, besides the DEI race swaps, is that they really wanted to take The Last of Us away from gamers. They figured if they hire some damn Mexican to play Joel, and this potato head girl to play Ellie, most of the game fans wouldn't bother to watch. But now these idiots are in a spot where you cast this unattractive girl to carry a show on her shoulders, and she can't sell it. And again, maybe she's talented, but she's not Ellie. And the writing isn't doing her any favors. They've even made her stupid in the show, which she absolutely isn't in the games. She's a parody of The Last of Us. Season 2, and I've seen people say this, and just the clips that I've seen of it, it's a parody of The Last of Us. It's even a parody of The Last of Us 2. This is a watered-down version of the games, and still, people cared enough about the characters and the story to dip out after Joel's death. They cared enough about the premise to drag Bella Ramsey as Ellie and what the show is making her do, and the position it's put her in. I know she was in Game of Thrones as a kid, and even then she looked pretty upsetting. But she was the lead, and because she was a little girl, people liked her and thought that she was this cool little badass girl. She can't hide behind that now. They never should have cast her in this series. You can challenge beauty standards all you want, but you have this 2-foot-tall butch lesbian character running around beating up guys twice her size. Nobody's going to take it seriously. Nobody is taking it seriously. And they're not going to overlook it because she doesn't even look good. You can't be ugly, stupid, and annoying. You can't expect people to suspend their disbelief that much. And because they cast Bella Ramsey as Ellie, Ellie is now much more butch and masculine than she actually is in the games. The whole "I'm going to be a dad" line, that's not an Ellie line. Ellie's not masculine. I mean, they did give her the gay Ellen haircut at the end of the second game, but there's no justification to cast Bella Ramsey as Ellie other than to challenge beauty standards. It's not like Ellie is even this Eve from Stellar Blade looking character anyway. And it's so funny how they actually cast a prettier actress to play Dina. Even though I would say Dina's looks grew on me in the game, and again though, talking about defeating the male gaze, they literally took away the actress they based Dina on. They literally shrunk her breasts, even though the actress is busty. They took that away from her in-game just to defeat the male gaze. Because that's the thing. Attraction is natural. The only way you can take it away from someone is to change how that person looks, or cast someone that you know isn't attractive. Not just Not conventionally attractive, but you know. And not even to be mean about it. I think if I had to cast Bella Ramsey in a movie or television show, it would be something from like the Elizabethan period. Hell, I might even cast her as Queen Elizabeth. But whatever. The thing is, they had to cast a prettier actress for Dina than she is in the game because they knew what they were doing when they first cast Bella Ramsey. So you have this show, right? You have Bella Ramsey looking like Bella Ramsey as Ellie. Then she's supposed to have a love interest in the second season. So the time comes for Dina to appear. And if you had these two ugly-ass lesbians running around, two of them, they knew they didn't have a chance. They don't have a chance now. I remember there was supposedly this controversy early on this season because they didn't show the sex scene between Ellie and Dina, which happens before Joel's death in the game when they're like hanging out at Eugene's safe house. You know, they find the weed and they smoke the weed and they have a little fling or whatever. They don't have that scene in the television show. And so people were like upset and they were like, you're erasing lesbian love. And it's crazy because it's like, who wants to see Bella Ramsey in a sex scene anyway?
Ew.
I know one of the feminist rules when it comes to the male gaze is that you're not supposed to film attractive lesbians having sex because of the male gaze. I mean, I did a whole video a little while back talking about the film Blue is the Warmest Color and how women who supposedly loved that movie were still complaining about it online because the explicit sex scenes featured hot women. So instead of just enjoying it for themselves, they were mad that men could enjoy it too. Fucking stupid. But this is activism. It isn't about helping people. It isn't about making things better. It's about controlling people who offend them. And if it means hurting your once popular video game or HBO series to take something away from your political enemies, they will do it in a heartbeat. All HBO and Druckmann and the other producers of the Last of Us TV series had to do was cast their main characters right. They had at least one perfect choice before them. They didn't do it. Not because she didn't fit the part, but because she didn't fit the politics. This is why woke is bad. It's not even good for the people who keep pushing this shit down everyone's throats.
All right, come on down.
How'd I do?
How about something a little more your size? It's for emergencies only.